Alright, so I ended up doing a lot of wide variety of stuff for this project, so I'll try to move quickly to cover everything. So to start off, the idea we sort of had, because we started off doing a virtual production thing and then had to pivot, was just like a small room where like some cultists were summoning something. And I was really picturing like lit by candlelight with books and alchemy supplies and stuff everywhere. And the idea originally was to have the misdirection aspect to it of it's very suspenseful, it's creepy, they're going to summon something, and then we were going to use VR stuff to make it just like a normal guy. So when pivoting to using a model, I wanted to find a way to keep that misdirection in there, which I think we ended up doing successfully. These are sort of the kind of references we were working with, just normal basement kind of stuff, and then like with the little nook workplaces here for the alchemy kind of things that they're doing, books and scrolls and cultists and all kinds of fun stuff. So for the modeling, I was, again, because originally the point was going to be the contrast between a real person and the scene. We were going for a very stylized look, so I tried to keep a lot of the models very simple, both in shape and texture to fit that. And I also, for this project, explored some sculpting stuff in Maya that I hadn't messed around with before, to get some of the more organic shapes that some of the models needed, like a lot of the candles and those kinds of things. With the texturing, I had a really hard time finding stylized textures for the full variety of materials I needed, all in the same style. So instead I just opted to take real textures and put them through, try a bunch of different filters in Photoshop, and I eventually found one that sort of just reduces it to the basic colors, and I can tweak how much it does that, but it ended up giving me, I think, pretty good results for simple textures that still read as what they're supposed to be. Also had to dig into my my animation tools that I haven't used since Principles of Animation for this. Pretty basic animations that I did, just enough to sell the summoning effects and everything. But part of why we chose Kirby as the creature that would get summoned in was because it's the first thing that came to my mind as a very easy model to animate, since we didn't have a lot of time after we pivoted ideas. And the last big thing I did, which I definitely did not do today, and is why I'm re-recording this video at 4:51, is I just was not happy with I got everything done, and I was not happy with the lighting. I couldn't get the right mix of, I wanted it to be dark and atmospheric, but still able to see everything. Just decided to go for a cell shading thing that I'd tried before and it hadn't worked, and I decided to try it again, and then I found a tutorial of how to put black outlines around all the models and stuff, and I think the result came out pretty good. I think it was a definite improvement over the original one I had, as far as reading is very stylized and, capturing the atmosphere but still be able to see everything. I was following a tutorial on these, but I thought I'd try to give a brief walkthrough of what I did to the best of my understanding, at least. So this is the cell shader, and it essentially takes both the diffuse color and the post process image, and it desaturates both of them, and then it's taking them through a multi-step process of basically checking how light a certain area is, and if it falls in a certain threshold, it makes it one color, and then if it doesn't, it bumps it to the next one, and to the next one, and to the next one, and you can put as many in there as you want and tweak the thresholds and everything, and that's what gives you the cell shading effect. And then there's a little workaround down here, because colored lights often don't work with cell shading. And so there's a workaround you do where you take the post-process input again and normalize it so that it's essentially just your colors, and then you desaturate the whole scene again after all the cell shading, and then you multiply them together again at the end to get you your colored lighting in the cell shading as well. And then this is the series of things that puts all the black outlines of stuff. This one I tried to understand. Some of it is a little over my head, but I have the general idea of it. Of essentially what it's doing is it takes the screen and cuts it up into a grid, essentially, and then through a bunch of masking and appending and screen positioning and all that, it takes all of the objects on screen and looks for vertices that are on the edge of the object from where it's viewed currently, and then through a bunch more things that I was unclear on, it draws the outlines, and it's a lot of this scene texture stuff and stuff that I am very interested to dig into and understand more how it works. But for these purposes, it was just about getting it to work, which I did end up doing. So that's pretty much what I did.